What's up, guys, and welcome back to Let's Play Dark Souls Remastered Kita Edition. Oh yeah. Alright, so let's get right back into it. It has been a moment since I've recorded, and by that I mean about a week, something like that, since the last episode. Mainly because I was just so insanely busy with E3 stuff. Actually, it might have been like a week and a half, or like 2 weeks, now that I think about it. So I'm like kind of taking a moment to remember where I was at and what I was doing. Last time, if you guys didn't catch it, I had a big talk about warping at the end of the episode and how I think warping is actually a negative thing. We're at the midst right now, as E3 just happened, where Sekiro was just announced. Shadows died twice. So I guess that's one thing I can talk about if I have some time or extra stuff to talk about, is Sekiro and my thoughts on it. But I try to stick to Dark Souls Remastered for the most part. Although, I don't know, I'm sure I'll end up having extra things to talk about, just because, you know, things become dated, and me talking about Sekiro right now won't make much sense if someone watches this in a year. That's just the way content works and all that. But, yeah, so I've just been insanely busy, so just non-stop work, which is why it's been a little while, and I haven't even had time to record a Let's Play, which, let alone edit it. Not that I'm doing that much editing work for this stuff on Dave Control Play. Yeah, so actually, speaking of which, at the moment, I'm going to be editing the videos. I had an editor, Scott, Nook and Cranny, who was great. Nothing wrong with him at all. He did a great job. It's just a matter of, I've been hosting for this network called Nerdwire, and there's this stuff, which is kind of what I was using to pay for it. And at the moment, I don't know what's going on with that. So, just because I'm so busy with so many jobs. So because of that, those were the means I was using to pay, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on with it, so I should take a break and save money, because that's just the way it is right now. And we're going to talk about that grass to the left. You guys know I talk about it all the time. I want to keep on talking about it. It's so very important to me. No, get out of my way, bro. Stop it. Will not let you have that satisfaction. You know, it took me a while when I first played this game to realize this was back here. And at first I thought the archers were really punishing. But now that I think about it, when you really consider why the archers are here, it's really not necessarily to make the Taurus demon harder. I think the design choice of putting them there is so you'll notice the ladder behind you. Because if they don't put the archers there, I think even less people would think to look behind and find this ladder. So that would be my thoughts on why that's there. I currently have the music off. I had one of you guys say that you wanted me to turn the music back on, and I'll do that after I fight this boss. I'm just really doing it to make a point. Oh wait, shoot, why is my HUD on? It must be because of when I was playing last time. Yeah, so anyways, the reason that I'm doing no sound, or no music, it's just for this. Like, if you notice, like, how much less intense it seems now, because the music's gone, it just seems like another enemy who just showed up. And I just kind of think that's an interesting way to play the game, because that's really how all the bosses end up feeling. I mean, obviously the fog gate still adds a little bit of intensity to it, because you're like, ooh, no, there's this big bad behind. But without the music, you know, now it just feels like, oh, it's just another enemy. Granted, Taurus Demon feels like that for a lot of people, since he's pretty easy when you know how to play the game. Watch, after saying that, I'm going to somehow end up dying to him. Ah, what the hell, Taurus? Nope, dodge, you broke. There we go. I was trying to make sure I got him to bleed. Let me ask you, Taurus Demon, do you bleed? Oh, wait, did I just die? Okay. Of course, when I'm talking about how easy it is, that's when I die. I guess I was a little early on my dodge. I mean, it's better to just stay away from Taurus Demon as opposed to getting up close to him. That's the smarter way to play, but you know what they say, guys. You know what they say. Shadows die twice. So I died once, and I don't want to die a second time. So let's try to keep that from happening. But I'm not sure. I've talked about this on my channel update before, and I think most of you guys already know at this point. But as of recording this video, I currently work essentially for 3 places. I work in the mornings for Nerdwire, where I do hosting work, and that's like early mornings, so pretty much 6:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m., where I go in, I write news stories, or my co-host writes the news stories. I mean, we both write news stories, but you know, I only write some of it, and one of the two co-hosts I co-host with will write stories and pretty much write my lines for me. I write their lines for them, and we do our story. And, you know, I go film it, finish up, wrap up around 8:30 a.m., and then I'm at my job at GameSpot Universe, which is a little bit different than main GameSpot, where we don't talk about games. It's all everything around games. That's nerd culture. So, I got a new show that I've been working really hard on that's about to come out soon for them. More focused on anime stuff, but I do stuff on comic books, Marvel movies, TV shows. I did a bunch of Rick and Morty videos for them. You know, just general stuff like that, but that's a 9 to 6 where I'm a producer. Honestly, my job is essentially, I say producer, video producer, whatever. I mean, it's kind of semantics, but my job for them is basically making YouTube videos, but for them. At the end of the day, it's everything that goes into making a YouTube video, where it's like, all right, I write it and research it, I shoot it, I'm on camera, I do the lighting, I edit it all. Except for I also shoot and edit videos of other people on camera as well, as not just my own. So yeah, that's what I do for them, and that's 9 to 6. And then I also do my YouTube channel on top of that, which is why I haven't had time to stream, which is unfortunate because I really enjoyed streaming. So maybe someday I'll be able to get to that again. But I think it's like a thing for me too with YouTube compared to streaming. It's like I like both. And I think it's fun interacting with everyone on the stream. And it's definitely more financially a good thing compared to YouTube. But I really like the fact that with YouTube, you know, it's like not even my Let's Play. So my Let's Play of Dark Souls might reach 1,000 people. Or 100, even if it's a few hundred people. Whereas a stream, I'm getting like 20 to 40 people regularly. Maybe sometimes I was getting more like 60 to 80. But it's still like, I can reach way more people on the YouTube. Or my videos on my main channel will get like up to 10,000 views. And even if I'm not making as much money, that doesn't really matter to me so much. I just like reaching more people with the content. I think that's more exciting for me. Also for my YouTube, my main channel, not the Let's Plays, but my main channel, I just find it fun to, I figured... Oh, I thought he might be dead there. Uh-oh. I like, with the main channel, I really like that higher quality type content that I make, because it's just more rewarding at the end to be like, oh, I put all this work into this video. It's this big piece that I really worked on, and I put a lot of effort into, like hundreds of hours for some of them, and I have that really cool finished product that I can show people that I'm super proud of. As opposed to a stream, which there's nothing wrong with, but a stream I'm not necessarily proud of at the end of it. I'm like, all right, well, that was fun. I had fun, and maybe financially it was more... Honestly, it does better than financially. If I put 100 to 200 hours into a stream, I'm making way more money than a super show makes, by far, hand over fist. But it's not rewarding to me, and that's a big thing for me, where I want to be satisfied with the work I do, and be proud of it. And I'm proud of the super shows more so than the streams, which are just fun. So I've mentioned this before, and I'm going to mention it again. This grass on the side is in the shape of a Capra demon. It's a little bit harder. Here we go. Here's a spot where you can really tell. 100%. If you look at the Capra demon concept art, and I know on my Let's Play, my previous one, I put the concept art over this, but that is 100% Capra demon concept art right there. So there you go. If you put it over, it's the same except for reverse. Like, you just literally mirror the image of a Capra demon, and that's what that grass is on the tower over there. Yeah, another thing I'm going to talk about here, and I guess I'll just say it here, and you guys, well, I was going to say ask questions here, but it doesn't really make sense, because I'll probably just answer them in the comments, as I usually do with these things. But I've never done any channel stuff on my channel that's like typical YouTube stuff, in the sense of like, outside of update videos, I've never done a Q&A video. I've never done things like that. And I'm finally going to do that, but I'll mention that after I talk to Soleil. What's up, Soleil?
Ah, hello. You don't look hollow. Far from it.
Cool thing is just, I love looking at the sun like that.
Of the Lord of Sunlight. Now that I am undead, I have come to this great land, the birthplace of Lord Gwyn, to seek my very own son. You find that strange? Well, you should. No need to hide your reaction. I get that look all the time.
Ha 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 ha! Ha!
Oh, aha. So I didn't scare
Just
you.
a little bit.
I have a proposition, if you have a moment.
Whoa, what's going on with my head right there? It's like the sun's shining through and making this weird... What is going on with my head? My forehead? Oh, there, now it's gone. I guess the sun rays were coming through. Whoops.
Well,
Sorry, Solaire. I did not mean to say no to you.
oh, then
He's one of the characters where if you accidentally screw up, you can correct your decision, where some of them, you're just screwed and you're done if you say the wrong thing.
our fates appear in a land brim. So what do
I find it weird that they make the auto thing for you to say, for some of these characters, the wrong choice to continue.
this pleases
Like right there.
We
And
are
they
in-
continued it for the remaster.
And of course, but
Okay, whatever. We're done talking until there. I think everyone at this point knows your dialogue, and there's not really much to say. Since you ain't no son of Gwyn. We know that now. There ain't anything to say to you, non-son of Gwyn. So, a lot of people really were convinced that Solaire was the son of Gwyn in Dark Souls 1 before Dark Souls 3 came out and proved that he was not. And I never thought he was, and I'm going to say why. And it's not to sound like smart or anything, and I've even mentioned this. I think in the very last episode of my Dark Souls 1 Let's Play, which was before 3 came out, I talked about how I didn't think he was. And by the way, something before I even talk about that, with the Hellkite Drake right here, I think this is the most unfair thing in the game. Everything else I'm cool with, but this one thing of him coming, I don't think there's really any way for you to tell. You can look at the burn marks on the ground, but I just don't think that's an obvious enough give or like takeaway for you to be like, oh, a dragon's gonna fly over and possibly insta-kill me. I can tell by those burn marks on the ground. Like everything else, like blood on a platform that's going up. You can say like, oh, there's blood here. That means something bad is gonna come from the platform. That's fine. But yeah, that one I don't particularly like. I don't think it's a good tell. Anyways, back to Solaire. It's a case where with him, there was evidence that pointed to maybe he's the son of Gwyn, but there was also a lot of evidence that pointed to he wasn't the son of Gwyn. And when you have both, and especially when there's a decent amount of evidence showing that he wasn't, to me that's like, all right, well, there's enough evidence saying that he isn't where you can't say that he is. That's kind of the way those sorts of things work. You know... Thank you, dragon. Appreciate it. So for this dragon, I think they cut out how long it takes in the remaster for him to start to fly towards you. Oh, what? I meant to do this. There we go. It's hard to tell the way I'm playing. Also, it's sort of hard to cut off his tail right now because with the weapon I'm using, it's not great. There we go, got it. Not that I was planning on using the Drake sword, but I just like getting it. So that's the way to get the Drake sword real quick, like that. I usually open this up right away because his fire, I don't know, I just, for his fire breath's sake, because I feel like he can still hit you and kill you right like that. Like that. When you're lighting the bonfire, so I'd rather just... Jeez, stop it, dragon, what the hell? I'd rather just open this gate so I can get away. He is really mad at me. You gonna calm down so I can set my bonfire? No? No, that you're not gonna calm down? Dude, he is really pissed at me. He is really angry that I got this bonfire lit. No? Okay. Okay. Alright, fine. Be that way, Hellkite Drake. Be that way. We'll always miss you on YouTube, Hellkite Drake. Which, by the way, for those of you who knew Hellkite Drake, I've had people ask me where he is before, Hellkite Drake, because he left YouTube and all that, and blah, 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 blah. That's really all there is to it. He was tired of it, he left YouTube. There's nothing major about it. He just decided to stop making content. That's all there is to it. And kind of decide that there are other things that he wanted to do other than make YouTube content. I find these statues interesting here just because of where they are in their placements and who you see praying over it. Like eventually the girl that you see praying over this statue is from the Way of White, whose name I'm blanking on. The one that gets killed by Petrus. Rhea from Thorland. She's praying over a statue that looks just like this. And they're all over the place. And it makes me think that this goddess right here might actually be Gwyn's wife. And this guy holding the sword there, I mean, could be the firstborn, although it's not destroyed, and usually they would destroy the firstborn statue. So that's the thing that would contest it, is the fact that she's even holding a child. The only two children that we know of, that are publicly known, I should say, are Gwyn and Guinevere. Because Gwendolyn no one knows about, and the other potential one that I think he had from Dark Souls 3, no one knows about. So, and Guinevere wouldn't have a sword. So that's the one thing that would fight against that. But it seems possible that that could be supposed to be Gwyn's wife. Or it's just some other random goddess. So I think I might play Claymore just because it's pretty fun to me. I think the Claymore is a fun weapon. So here's the Sunlight Covenant. For those of you who don't know, it's kind of interesting in the way you enter it, where you can't really do anything with it until you have 25 faith. But for every time you do co-op with someone with that White Sign Soapstone you got from Solaire, it lowers the and helps someone actually defeat a boss. It lowers that requirement by 5 faith that you need to join this covenant. So if you're like me and never level up your magic stats, like this 11 that I have, I just have to help 3 people through area bosses, and I can be a Sunbro if I want. And if you're going for the Knight's Honor achievement, you need that, because you need to go ahead and offer the Gwyn Soul to this. Oh, actually, sorry, not for Knight's Honor, for getting all the miracles in the game, for Maidens, whatever, the Maiden's Kiss, Maidens, whatever the Maidens thing is. If you're going for that, getting all the miracles in the game and getting that achievement, you need to join this. For Knight's Honor, you just need Gwyn's Soul, and you need to offer it. But I tend to do them all in one run, and just go to New Game plus however many I need to do. And yeah, that's how I do. Something about the Black Knights that I think a lot of people know at this point, but I still think is a fun factoid about them, is the Black Knights were initially supposed to roam around, kind of like the Pursuers from Dark Souls 2, but I think even more so roam around than that. Oh, I don't know why. I find these guys, that type of Black Knight, super easy when you're at the end of the game, but I have trouble with them at the top there, obviously, clearly. And for those of you who know, for those of you who know my previous Let's Play where I'd always play music and stuff while I'm dying, I'm not doing it for this channel just because at the moment, A, to cut down on editing time because it adds a couple hours to my editing time, but B, it's also for claims and things like that. I'm just trying to be a little bit better about that stuff, even though I find it all fun and I think it makes the Let's Play more fun, obviously. I just think it's good to be better about that stuff. At least try to be a little bit better about it for a little bit, or pretend I'm trying to be a little bit better. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, there might be a point where I do. It's sad. I can hum the music and be like dun 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 every time I mess up. And I Chrono Trigger music every time I beat a boss. Is this gonna? Nope. I thought I'd try. I was like, maybe this will do him in. No. Oh, mini boss here, Black Knight. But yeah, anyways, they would roam around, and actually we're supposed to kind of have a patrol that they would keep, and keep on walking back and forth along their patrol, or just the entire area of the game. And they ended up cutting out, I think because they couldn't do it with memory limitations or something to that extent. So they couldn't have the Black Knights exactly how they wanted it. I don't know how I'd feel about it since it's not in the final game, because I remember the first time I ran the Black Knights, my first time ever playing the game, they were so insanely hard, and they were so terrifying that I don't know how well I would have handled the idea of, you know, not being able to not avoid them, I should say, if I wanted to. Screw you. Oh, shoot. I wasn't targeting by accident. It's like, I'm not circling around him the way I want to. What with that? Wow, I actually didn't think I was going to be able to drink my Estus in time. The sweet, sweet Sunny D. And one more. One more for good luck. Something else I can talk about, too. Oh, a couple things, actually. So the drop rates are upped in Dark Souls Remastered. I think it's been confirmed that they're up. they're actually a lot higher, and it's way easier to get stuff. So if you're going for things like Knight's Honor, it's way, way easier. Another thing, too, I think I'll mention, is that I commented, Jim Sterling, I was talking about him putting up a Gymquisition recently, and how he was going to, and I had my thoughts on warping, which he didn't end up mentioning in his Gymquisition, but he mentioned all of his problems he had with Dark Souls Remastered, which brings me to a comment that I put on his video, which ended up getting way more upvotes than I thought it would, and he ended up responding to it, and responding to me, which I also didn't think he was going to do, because I don't think he knows who the hell I am. So I just, like, to me, it's like, I just think I'm just a random commenter on his videos, essentially, you know? So I didn't think it would get any attention. I just thought it's good to put it out there. But he was complaining a lot about the remaster, and how he thought it was just like this poor job, and it was just From Software really screwing it up and dropping the ball, and how they could have made it way better. And my comment was how, so for the Dark Souls Remastered, From Software didn't work on the game. It was by a company called Q-Lock for the PS4 PC port, and the Xbox One port. And then the, excuse me while I go heal a second, for those ports. And then for the Switch port, I don't remember the name of the company for the Switch port, but it's yet another company for that port. So I kind of commented, like, yeah, like, I think you have valid complaints and criticisms. That's fine. Everyone's going to have different criticisms, which is what I think is also worth talking about, too, is everyone's going to have different criticisms about how Dark Souls should change for what they want and what they think is better and blah, blah, blah. I think it's dumb. Anyway, and I'll go into that, too. Anyways, he had all of his criticisms for what he thought they should do, which is fine. Like, a common complaint, for example, is that they should redo Izalith. Izalith sucks, and the Demon's Runes suck. They weren't finished, which is true. From Software has gone ahead and said that they didn't like the way it came across. That's just true. There's nothing not true about that. And some other criticisms. Some that I don't notice, like the fact that you can pop multiple... Now you can pop multiple of these things at once, but it keeps you locked in. You can't go into the menu afterwards. I didn't even know that. I didn't even notice, honestly. But anyways, my point was that From Software didn't work on it, you know, and whatever. Sorry, I'm so focused on this boar and wanting his ass so badly. I'm not really thinking straight. I get distracted by ass sometimes, you know. It happens to the best of us. So, here's the thing, though. And I commented, like, look, to me, if From Software isn't going to work on the game, which they didn't, then I don't want another company making changes to it. That's how I feel. Like, the reason I like this game is because From Software developed it, and that's who I trust. I don't want another company completely changing this game. That's not okay to me. I like it for what it was, and I like it for how From Software made it. And what if they want to make changes to it, that's fine. But I just don't want another company handling it. And he responded to me saying, like, well, essentially his argument was that From Software has had, what, 8 years to remaster the game and make it better, and they haven't done it. And that apparently he said they supervised the game and that they didn't do it, so therefore they did a bad job, and he's still mad. Whatever. He's standing by his point, which I still disagree with this point. I very much so. They did supervise it, but that doesn't mean they worked on it and developed it. So if you actually go to the credits of this game and look at the development team behind it, it's a completely different team who worked on this game from Software's end than who worked on the original game. Not only that, but there's really minimal roles. All the heavy roles you can see are handed over to Q-Lock and the other... well, Q-Lock in this case. Because when From Software is supervising it and apparently telling them not to make major changes to the game, that just means they probably handed them a couple assets, and they're like, here you go, here are our assets. We're supervising to this extent of saying, like, okay, it looks like you're doing a good job. Don't make major gameplay changes, things like that, and making sure it plays the way they want it. That's what that means. It doesn't mean they worked on it. They didn't work on it. They just supervised it to make sure it turned out to their satisfaction. That's all it means. And the other thing to look at in that equation is a completely different company than Q-Lock is working on the Switch port. So it becomes even more complex to that extent if From Software is supervising it, where you have one team doing the Xbox One and PS4 port. You have another team doing the Switch port. So if they're working on it independently of each other, it's hard for one team from a completely different company to come up with some sort of change and be like, we want to do this change. We're going to make Demon's Runes look like this now. And then From Software has to get way more involved and say like, okay, let us go over this with you, see if we like these changes. And not only that, but then send these changes over to the Switchport company, have the Switchport do those changes, or if the Switchport's making the changes and implementing changes, then they have to supervise that, change those changes, switch over those changes, and change it over to the Xbox One port and all that. Like, it's way more complicated than I think he's giving it credit for, or some people, other people in general, give it credit for. And that takes way more personnel. It takes a much larger team of people. And then at that point, it's just, since you have these multiple teams doing the ports, it just becomes this really weird, because now there's 3 different companies involved. And that makes it really difficult to do something like that. And again, at that point, From Software isn't developing it. They're just overseeing changes that other companies are making. It's not From Software. It's not Miyazaki. Miyazaki's team is working on Sekiro. Their B team's working on, or whatever team. I don't know what team's doing what. But whatever. They have another team working on that VR game. You know, they're not really working on it. They were just overseeing it to make sure it didn't turn out like crap. That's really all it was. And I don't think it's fair to say they had 8 years to change the game and make it better. They haven't been working on Dark Souls 1 for 8 years. They were working on Dark Souls 2 and then Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne and now all these games, you know? They're not working on Dark Souls 1. And if you ask me what I think it was, it's probably Bandai Namco said, hey, we want to make a remaster because Bandai Namco has the rights to Dark Souls. Sony has the rights to Bloodborne and Demon's Souls. But I bet you it's Bandai Namco, who doesn't have the rights to Sekiro, who doesn't have the rights to, as far as I know, their new VR game. They still want to make money. They want money because they want to get as much money as they can off of the Dark Souls brand. Notice how there isn't a Demon's Souls port, because that would be on Sony. But if you notice, there was a Dark Souls 2 remaster, which was probably Bandai Namco. And then this remaster, again, probably Bandai Namco. And whatever, you can be mad about that, you can be not mad, but I'm just saying that I think it's Bandai Namco instigating that as opposed to From Software, and From Software is just overseeing it to make sure they're happy with the finished product. Now, as far as changes go and all that, outside of quality of life changes, like being able to use multiple items and things like that, I don't want other changes, because every change that I see people saying that they want, doesn't matter who you are, you might have a really good change that you think is a great idea. Someone else isn't going to like it, and then someone else is going to like it, and someone else is going to think it's a terrible idea, and someone else is going to hate it. All these changes, someone might hate, someone might like. What you think is this great change. Like, I've heard people talk about, like, I think we should make this change to the game because it would make the game better. And I look at that and I'm like, I don't like that change. That change takes away part of what I like about the game. Like, as an example, Jim Sterling wanted you to be able to warp at the very beginning. That's what I talked about last episode, and how I think that's a terrible change to the game. Yeah, I don't think that's a good one at all. Do I have any... No, I don't. I'm not even going to talk to Andre, who was originally going to be Gwen's son, by the way. Andre was originally the firstborn before they changed things up. Sorry this ended up just being a rant. I guess to me it's just something to talk about that I find irrelevant. I haven't talked about it anywhere else because I don't necessarily want to make a full video about it. I just think I just want to express my opinion about this in a place where I can, in a safe space. Nah, it's more of I just don't want to dedicate a full video to it on my channel. There's other things that I want to talk about on my channel that aren't this. I just don't think this is worth a full video. But anyways, point is, like, this is just one example. Is Jim Sterling thinking that you should have warping right from the get-go of the game. And I think that is a terrible change. I think it completely changes the feel of the game, where you feel nervous trying to get to bonfires. It completely ruins the excitement over getting shortcuts. If you go somewhere like the catacombs and they have to get out because you kind of screwed yourself over, now you didn't, because you can just warp away. It completely changes the feel of the game in what I think is a negative way. Now, maybe he thinks it's a good way, and for him it would be more fun, but it's a subjective thing, and that's not necessarily an improvement. That's just a change that you want. So all these different changes are ones that some people will like and some people won't like. So you can't necessarily say, oh, we should make all these great changes that will make the game better when, you know, the game that everyone loved was this one that we got a long time, not a long time ago, in 2011, not that long ago. But that's the game everybody fell in love with, right? And every change you make might make some people happy and it's going to make other people unhappy. And I think the best thing you can do in this sort of case is just, unless you have From Software working on it and being like, we really want to make these changes, like making the Demon Runes laid out better, and making Izalith laid out better, and changing the Witch of Izalith boss fight. I just don't think it's a good idea. It's like some people are going to be happy, some people aren't, which with each and every change that you make, except for like the most general, you can pop multiple souls at once sort of changes. Because all of these things change the way the game feels, or change the way the game plays, like in the future tense. I mean, hell, just to use an inane example, you could even look at something like the Water Temple from Ocarina of Time. And they changed that up for the one on the 3DS, the remake, to make it less annoying. Which to me, cool, whatever. And I'm happy with it because Nintendo did it. That's why I could care less. But even that change, I guarantee you, there are some people who are going to say, I like the first one more because it made you think more. Like, even just the fact that it takes a while to switch to your boots, it makes it so when you screw up more, that makes it more of an issue. Like, you really have to think before you make a decision. I don't know. Whatever argument you could have, someone's going to have and not like it as much. Even though I think that's a case where it's subjectively a better thing to change it. But regardless, every change is going to have an up and down effect, you know? And I guess that's my point I'm trying to get to. That in this long, convoluted talk, where I went on for way too long, that is what I'm getting at, is that every change, someone's going to like it, someone isn't. And I don't think you can be the one to say, like, I know the things that are going to make it better, and they should do it, otherwise, I don't know. So anyways, it comes down to, like, there's reasons why I didn't really want them to change Dark Souls Remastered. And for me, another reason, too, is getting on the Switch. I love Dark Souls 1. It's my favorite game in the Souls series. And I just wanted to port it on Switch so I could play it portably. I don't really need it to be that much different. I'm just excited to be able to play it portably. Honestly, the only reason I have a PS4 version of it, which is what I'm playing it on right now, is just so I could work on making videos and talk about the game, since that's what I do for my channel. If I wasn't doing this stuff for my channel, I would have just waited for the Switch version of the game, honestly. Because it's not a big enough difference. Another thing that I'm excited about with the remaster is just for people who haven't played Dark Souls 1 to play it, because I think it's the best game in this series still. People are going to disagree. Everyone has a different favorite game. I still think it's the best game in the series. So I'm happy that more people have a chance to play what I consider to be the best game in the series. So that to me is also exciting about it. But yeah. Anyways, that's sorry, kind of a bit of a rant there. And you are free to disagree with me. And honestly, if you want changes to Dark Souls Remaster, that is totally cool. It's a subjective opinion, and I'm just explaining why I don't at the end of the day. And look, if From Software handled it, and Miyazaki was like, yo guys, yo boys, check it. This is how I wanted Dark Souls 1 to be. Made all these changes and made it like Dark Souls reworked, or whatever they want to call it, with all these changes. I'd be like, cool. I can't wait to try it. That's exciting. But if it's not the original design team, I just don't care. I don't care for changes. It's not... And I think the game's great as is. You can call it rose-tinted glasses. But I don't know, just replaying the game, I haven't really run into these big issues where I'm like, oh god, why did they do that? It's just been fun for me, where I'm like, man, I do love this game. This game's so great. This game, that's been a lot of my feelings as I replayed Dark Souls Remastered. And why I'm doing yet another Let's Play of the game, because I never typically really want to do multiple Let's Plays of a single game on my channel. But that's why I'm doing it, is because after playing the game again for all my lore footage, I'm like, man, I really do love playing this game, and I really do love it that much. So, I know people are cynical about it, but you know what? I like it, and I'm fine with it. So there you go. There's another perspective compared to all the millions of cynical people out there, just cynical videos, which is most of what I've seen. I wasn't expecting much from it myself, other than a graphical overhaul, whatever, just a graphical level up. And I don't think it's that much different, honestly. As I'm playing it right now, it looks a little bit nicer. But it's not, and I played on the 360, now I'm playing on PS4, but not that noticeably different to me. I don't really think it needed a remaster at all. I wasn't that excited about it when they announced the remaster. I was just excited for the fact that I could play it on Switch. That was about it. To me, it's more so just a port, honestly, than a remaster. It's like, they can call it Dark Souls Remaster, it's really a port. And that's fine by me. I don't have any issue with them porting the game over. And if it's worth it for you to buy it or not, it's totally up for you. Do you want to port for PS4, which is really what it is, or for Switch? Yes, no, cool. You know, do whatever's best for you. But that's yeah. And I think maybe that's the issue, is they calling it Dark Souls Remastered. It's really not. It's just a port with better graphics. But whatevs. That's how I feel about it. There you go. So I always die to this. This is actually a big area where I screw up all the time. I'm not very good at this part, so if I die here, there you go. I'm just putting that out there right now. I'm not good at it. This Chandler right here is great for lore stuff because I will point it out in a second. I like getting this shot too for my lore video. I try to do as much as I can where I'll get a shot of the Chandler from over there, or the Channeler. So this guy right here, this Channeler, is just watching over this area, and the lore of them is that they take people away over for a Seath to experiment on. They'll like kind of go out searching for young maidens for him to experiment on. And if Rhea is over there, Rhea Thorland, and you've killed Petrus. So this is if Rhea's over there and Petrus is dead. At some point in the game, the channelers will, even if you, after killing this channeler, at some point in the game, she will just disappear and you'll find her in Seath's archive. Because one of these guys swooped her away, and that's what this guy's over here for. And it's just like a nice little piece. It's those little pieces like that make this game great, where they don't say anything, it just happens, and if you piece it together, it's that fun little puzzle of what's going on. And speaking of which, apparently Sekiro is going to be similar with the lore and the way they do storytelling, according to Miyazaki. And just to say some brief stuff about Sekiro, for what we do know, it's that the game is going to be more of an action game, more like a Zelda sort of game. Not going to be an RPG, but it's going to have an interconnected world like Dark Souls 1, which I'm excited about. There isn't going to be any leveling, and the lore is going to be told in a similar fashion to Dark Souls 1. And you can't create characters or any of that. And you know what? I'm fine with that. I just like when From Software tries new things and does different things and new IPs. Some people aren't going to be. I'm cool with it, and I'm excited to try it out. So there you go. I'm pretty lackadaisical about a lot of things. I guess I got pretty heated about the warping thing last time. I was talking to you guys, but it's funny. So when I do stuff for Nerdwire, which is where I host, a lot of times their note for me is, we want you to have more of an opinion, be more opinionated about this stuff. And I'm just like, look, guys, if you want someone with more of an opinion, you need somebody else, because I don't usually have that strong of an opinion, especially about nerd news stuff. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. If, like, I just don't care that much. If something, like, is coming out that I don't like and I'm not interested in, fine, maybe someone else will like it, you know? It doesn't bother me. I don't care. If something I'm excited about comes out, cool, I'm excited. I don't know. I don't get, like, super crazy opinionated about that stuff. And maybe it's just my age, but I'm just like, all right, that's cool. I don't know. All right, let's go fight boss number 2. And I know I didn't turn back on the music. I'll do it after this. I'm sorry, but I'm also not sorry, because I kind of like it where it's just like, oh yeah, you know, there's just a boss. All right, or it's just another enemy. Like I said, that's kind of the way it feels when you do it this way. It's just another enemy. No big. Well, let's cut off his tail, because it definitely makes him easier to manage. I'm not very good at these guys either sometimes. It's funny, sometimes it's like the later bosses. I'm just not good at this game in general. That's how I should start saying stuff now. That's basically the way I've been saying things this episode. I'm just not very good at this thing. I'm not very good at this thing. It's all just code for, if I screw up, don't be mad at me. I'm not Lobos Jr. unless we're playing platform games. I think I can hold my own against him in a platform game off. But that's about it. Oh, you're dead. Cool. Okay, I guess I'll do fine against them now. It's just when there's two. It's that management of fighting two at once. Bro. That was a big mistake. You shooting fire at me like that. It was a big mistake. See, it makes it feel like such less of a big deal when you fight them this way. So, I just really wanted to point that out with the music. So I'll turn it back on because I know some of you guys do like it. And if you don't, just let me know. But that's why I had it off, was just really for that difference of feel. Because I feel like at this point, there's so many Let's Plays. I'm like, I don't know what to do that you can get out of it that's different than someone else, other than talk about the lore, my interpretations of the lore. And this like thing where I'm doing no HUD and maybe having no music. You know, it's like, all right, well, that's just a different feel for the game. There's a million people who've done Dark Souls Let's Plays, and there's a lot of good ones, so at least it's something to differentiate myself. Yo, guys, let's get some people some hyped up humanity! Or is it an Estus recharge? I think it's an Estus recharge. Okay, so things with the Bell of Awakening that for whatever reason took me a long time to realize that I think is cool to talk about is what it's really there for. So you know that the whole Legend of the Undead is to ring the bells of awakening. You need to leave and ring the bell of awakening, and then you find out it's 2 bells of awakening. And after ringing the first bell of awakening, you hear Frompt snoring. And therefore, the bell of awakening is just purely the sake is to wake up Frompt. That's all the bells of awakening are really for. It does open Sun's Fortress, but really is to waken up Frompt. What's up, Oswald? Mr. Kareem? I want your, well, what is a gesture, please? I don't think I need absolution. And he sells some fun stuff, like Velka's talisman. Medium for casting miracles of the gods. The black tuft of hair that serves as a talisman belongs to the Velka, goddess of sin. Cast miracles not by drawing upon faith, but intelligence. For each sin, there's a punishment, and it is the task of goddess Velka to define the sin and met out the punishment. So, in my lore video about Velka, the goddess of sin, Velka, oversees the list of the guilty who have disrespected the gods of their covenants and shall one day face the wrath of the blaze of the dark moon. This is the interesting one to me. So in my lore video about Velka, I talked about how I thought Velka was on an opposite side to Gwendolyn. Because if you kill the crows, you get a souvenir of reprisal from the crows. And Velka, or Gwyn's covenant, or Gwendolyn, excuse me, Gwendolyn's covenant rewards you for collecting those. So it could say, and there's 2 ways to look at it. And the way that I looked at it was the saying of, okay, killing the crow people gets you those souvenirs of reprisal, meaning that he wants you to kill the crow people, meaning that he doesn't like Velka. Other way to look at it is you could say, oh, maybe they have the souvenirs of reprisal, the crow people, because they're actually on Velka's side, and they've been doing that work, and that's why they have the souvenirs of reprisal. 2 different ways to look at it. I think it's up for interpretation, but this one, again, is another one where Goddess of Sin Velka oversees the list of the guilty, who have disrespected the gods of the covenants, and shall one day face the wrath of the blaze of the dark moon. So this one right here kind of actually implies that latter one, where maybe the blaze of the dark moon are on Velka's side, because she's overseeing the list of the guilty, and then blaze of the dark moon are coming and hunting them down. But another thing is she, there's differences in how they met out their, or for each sin there's a punishment, you know, and how they deal with it. So I think it's all up for interpretation, but I'd love to know what your guys' thoughts are on Velka, because when I was looking back at that lore video I made on Velka, sometimes I'm like, you know what, I don't know if I agree with myself. I feel like I should have left it a little more open as opposed to definitive, or these are my thoughts on it. And I found that with a couple of my Dark Souls 1 videos. I'm pretty happy with my Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls 3 lore videos, except for with Dark Souls 3, I do think Aldrich did not eat Nito in retrospect. He definitely ate Gwendolyn, but I don't think he ate Nito. Just because I don't think that makes sense for canon purposes. Canonically. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with all my Dark Souls 3 stuff and Dark Souls 2 stuff. So, yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, I remember, I think, what I was going to say about what I was going to do for my channel, my main channel, regarding questions and all that. So, I think I'm going to put up, for my main channel as of July 4th, it will be 5 years of my main channel of Dave Control, which is super exciting. And I was gonna wait for this video until I hit 100,000 subscribers on my main channel, but I've been stuck at 95,000 for a few months now, and I just don't, like, it keeps on going up and down in terms of subscribers because YouTube will have another sub purge. Or I was facing this thing for like 10 days where every single day from the hours of 10 a.m. to noon, I was losing 10 to 20 subscribers for that 2-hour period. And I emailed YouTube about it, and they were like, I don't know what you're talking about, you're an idiot. Just because I was curious about what was going on. And then I noticed there's yet another day where YouTube, it started with the sub purge, where I lost like 500 subscribers in the period of one day. And then I started losing 20 subscribers a day. And then a few days ago, all of a sudden, I lost another like 150 subscribers over the span of 2 days. When I noticed that there were some channels who had that happen to them, like Peanut Butter Gamer had it happen to him and a couple other channels, and a lot of channels didn't. And I was like, what the hell is going on? Why is my channel being affected by it? Where there was no discernible reason. I can lose subscribers, whatever. Sometimes I'll upload a video and lose subscribers. Actually, a lot of times when I upload a video, I lose subscribers the day I upload that video and then gain them back over the next few days. That happens a lot for me with my main channel, because I'm sure people have lost interest in what I'm doing, or they are interested in something new, you know, whatever reason, which is fine, and that's fair. But it was weird because I had nothing I'd uploaded. There's no reason I could tell for why I was losing all these subscribers. So I emailed YouTube, and I was like, hey, what's going on? And they were like, I don't know, shut up, essentially. That was basically their email to me, summarized perfectly well. But anyways, with all that, like, I think in the span of a month, just through those sub-purge things of YouTube, I've lost like 800 subscribers. And it's more of like, it's just more depressing in the sense of, not that I just like making content for the fact that people watch it, and that's exciting enough. But, you know, it's gotten to the point where it's a goal for me to hit 100,000 subscribers and get that YouTube plaque. It just is a cool thing, and I just feel like I'm sort of stuck at 95,000, which sucks. Again, just like once I hit that, I won't really care anymore how many I get or how many I won't get. I just really wanted to hit that one goal, and now that not much is going on with Soul stuff, I don't know if I'll ever get it, because that's really how I was getting subscribers. I mean, I have another video concept I'm going to start that I think is a good idea, and I'll keep on making the stuff I make, like Who Made and Chronicles of Gaming and Super Shows and all that. But I've got another show concept that I think is a good concept, so we'll see how that does. But yeah. Anyways, what I was going to do for my 100,000 subscriber video that I was hoping to hit before 5 years, and now it's looking like I'm not going to, was I was going to do a general just Q&A video, because I've never done one before. But now that I have no idea when I'm going to hit 95,000 subscribers, I thought it might be fun to do a Q&A video on my main channel for 5 years of the channel. And I guess part of the reason I've never done one before is just because, I don't know, I've never felt like... It's funny, I like watching YouTubers' Q&A videos a lot, actually. I always enjoy them, especially if it's a YouTuber who I watch. But I guess since it's me, I don't feel that way about myself. I'm like, I'm just another dude. I don't know why people would care. You know, I don't feel like people care, I guess. To me, I'm just another dude. I just make videos and whatever. It's not a big deal, right? I don't think of myself in any way other than just like, I'm just a guy. Why would people care about a Q&A with me? But I just thought it'd be fun to do, I guess, just for my own vanity in a way. Like, oh, let me be vain this one time and do it just because it seems like fun to be like, yeah, I can do a Q&A. So anyways, I figure I'll do it for 5 years on my main channel, and I'll probably post the videos soon here, if I haven't already posted it, but soon here on my main channel for people to ask questions for me to answer for Q&A. And I want to do it on the main channel as opposed to asking the questions on Twitter or asking the questions on like this channel or whatever, just because there's so many more people who watch my main channel than Twitter or Twitch or anything else that I'd rather go to them and where my audience is and be like, hey guys, everyone there, you can all have a chance to ask a question if everyone has a question. So anyways, that's what I'm thinking I'll be doing for my 5 year. I also wanted to make a video too, because my next super show, and I'm actually working on 2 super shows at once right now. But my next Super Show is going to be my 25th Super Show. So when I finish that, I was going to make like a fun 25 Super Shows video. Just sort of like a recap, fun like montage type of video for 25 Super Shows. Just because since I spend 100 to 200 hours of work on each Super Show, that's for 25 shows, you know, that's 25 times 200 or 25 times 100. So that means I've basically spent 2,500 to 5,000 hours of my life on Super Shows. So for me, that's an achievement just because it's been so much of my life spent just working on those and making them. So I thought it'd be fun to, like I said, again, just reiterating, I guess. But I thought it'd be fun to make like a special like montage of like, oh wow, this is exciting. I've done so much. I don't have enough souls. No. Why? So that's another thing I was probably going to be making soon. But, like I said, I mean, first I have to finish my 25th Super Show. But yeah, so at the moment, basically, I'm working on 2 Super Shows at once for my channel, back and forth. And I'm working on, nice. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to get it upgraded to +4 or not. I'll try not to, Andre. Thanks for the advice. 2 Super Shows at once, and this new show idea I have, which will take a little bit of time because I want to figure out how I want to shoot it and do it. It'll be presented like a top 5 type of video, but I'm thinking I might shoot myself on camera too, and have it so it's not just a basic top 5 video, but make it a little bit more fun and have a little bit more personality to it. But it's not going to just be a general top 5 video. There's a very specific theme to it. Anyways, that's another video concept I have that I want to work on. And obviously, like, I've been wanting to make my Sega Genesis Chronicles of Gaming video for a while now. And that's a really big one I want to work on for my main channel. As far as stuff coming up from my main channel goes. And keep on working on Dave Control Play. And do stuff for this when I have time. Even though, like I said, no editor now, but you know, doing everything I can to put stuff out. Because I've been wanting to play Hollow Knight. I really want to play Hollow Knight, so I'd like to do a Let's Play of that on my channel for my first time playing it, like a blind playthrough of Hollow Knight. That's one thing I really want to do. Now that it's out on Switch as of E3, and they're just like, by the way, Hollow Knight, Switch, right now. So I need to finish my Fox and Forest Let's Play to do that. My older brother's really been wanting me to play Final Fantasy VI. I don't know if I'm going to. But I was reading some stuff that made me kind of, about Go-Go, that made me kind of excited about the idea of, like, actually, maybe it'd be fun to do Final Fantasy VI Let's Play. I just feel like RPGs are really boring to watch, and that's why I haven't done a Let's Play of an RPG ever. Like, I'll do super shows of RPGs, but a Let's Play, I'm like, ah, man, but isn't that boring to watch me just, like, reading text constantly? I don't feel like that'd be fun to watch. Or, like, grinding and all that as you have to do in RPGs, or just, like, constant, like a Final Fantasy VI game, constant randomized battles. And maybe if I had someone I was playing with who I could bounce off of and talk with, it'd be more fun. But I just feel like I'm like, I don't get what see what you get out of watching me do that. Wait a second, I did not mean to do that. I meant to go back on the elevator because I'm thinking I'm going to go back to the Undead Asylum and fight off against that stray demon. Oh, I guess I already did this. The stray demon. And then I'll go to the Capra. Gotta fight all the demons, guys. These damn demons. Who, like, I think I said last episode, I think essentially want... I think because... Oh, wait. Okay, so here's the snoring. Like I said, from Fromp, that only starts after ringing a bell. And again, you can see that statue right there of the lady with the baby, which is, again, where I'm like, maybe it is supposed to be Gwen's wife, but I don't know. I mean, there's no proof to it. It's just a random thought of, like, I wonder if that's who it's supposed to be. I wonder what's in the Wonder Ball all the time. I feel like this episode's been really rambly, and I hope that's okay and you guys are still enjoying it. Last episode, I was all about that lore, and I think it's just because I came off of working on my lore video, where I'm like, ooh, I am in the lore mindset. Because I had just literally just finished my Dark Souls 1 lore story video. And now I'm just in, like, ramble mode a couple weeks later, where I'm like, I've been working a lot, I am very tired, and I'm in ramble mode. Because seriously, like, it was, oh my god, it was so much work the past couple of weeks. It was insane. So just to put it out there for you guys, if anyone's curious, like what my schedule is like the past couple weeks, I've been doing this pilot show for GameSpot Universe that I'm really excited about. I don't know how well it's gonna do, but I came up with the concept for it. I'm excited about it, just because I put a lot of work into it and I'm passionate about what I'm talking about. It'll be coming out really soon, hopefully Monday actually. And I don't know if I'm putting up this video on Monday or Tuesday or when I'll be done with this Let's Play, just because of how long it takes to render out these videos and all that. But I'm excited about it because I put a lot of passion behind it. And I'm really hoping it does at least well enough for me to do a second episode, because it'll all be based on how well it does, if I'm allowed to do a second episode or not. But that's something I'm really passionate about. And I've been working on that, and I've been working a lot of extra hours on my own time just to try to make sure it's really good and get it right, on top of all the normal videos I have to do for GameSpot Universe. And then in the mornings, like I said, I host this channel for Nerdwire. For my main channel, I had to replay all of Dark Souls 1 Remastered, and 100% it, so I could get every single item and every single shot I could possibly need. I literally have on my computer at this point now for Dark Souls 1 Remastered every single area of the game shot like this, where I'll go to a bunch of spots in each area of the game, and this is how I shoot lore videos. Slow pans, just slow pans of everything I think might look nice and might be good for a video for every area in the game. And I'll do pans like this, pans left and right, really slow. Then I'll do that for every single character in the game. And I categorize it also, like here's all my characters, here's every shot of it. Turn off, switch around my audio so I can capture their voices and everything as I record their voices for every character, try to do every side quest. So if I ever want to do another lore video for Dark Souls 1, not only am I covered for my 30-minute long story video, I have all the lore video footage possible. So the moment I got Dark Souls 1, that was just non-stop work. Non-stop. I was working like crazy. So it's just anyways, and I like Dark Souls, but it's just non-stop. And then as soon as I finished that, and then I had to get my story video up, and I was trying to get it up as soon as possible. Then I had one of my friends, Kelsey Lewin, from her channel, Kelsey Lewin, who does stuff with Metal Jesus Rocks. She's a friend of mine, and she happened to be in town for E3, which was this past week. And because of that, we were talking about having her as a guest on one of my super shows, just because she's a friend and I thought it'd be fun. But I still wasn't at the point where I had finished recording all the footage for my super show, gameplay-wise, which I need to do so I can finish replaying whatever game I'm going to talk about or playing it in the first place. And then, so I can then write it properly. So then, as soon as I finish Dark Souls Remastered, it's like, crap, I need to get through recording all the footage, taking all the notes that I need for this game, and then I need to write my script. And I still haven't, at this point, finished writing the script, but I got at least enough of it done where I could get through her lines that I needed for her on camera. There's going to be some other stuff with her that I'm doing that's not necessarily on camera that I don't want to ruin. But the point is, I was just trying to get to the point where I could be when she came over for the one brief period of time that she was in LA where I live, and I could get her on camera, I had to get everything written and ready. And that was a huge, just stressful. Just really stressful trying to get all that done on top of everything else. So that was, yeah, that's where I was at the past couple weeks, just doing all that stuff, which is why there's a bit of a delay on stuff on the upload for Dave Control Play. I think that's really why I wanted to say it. It wasn't to be like, look how busy I am. It was just if the reason that there was a week of no content on Dave Control Play, which my whole goal of Dave Control Play was to have it so there would always be daily content or something like that, or close. The whole reason I put it together was for that reason, and here is why. I've just been really busy. So it's not a complaint. I like being busy, so I don't want you to think I'm complaining about it. I genuinely like being busy. So don't take away that from it, or I'm complaining, because I'm not. It's just that's why there was this delay. And that's also why, for people who want me to stream more, why I don't stream, it's just because I work a lot of 14-hour days. So a lot of 14-hour days. And then when I'm not working, I'm usually exercising. That's really, really important to me. Exercise. I try to exercise twice a day. And these past 2 weeks, I've only been able to exercise once a day, which has been kind of depressing for me. But the thing is, if you think about the fact that the one thing I'm cutting out because I'm so busy, is my second exercise. And that's all I do in my day, is I'm either working or exercising. That means the only other... I barely had time to sleep, is how much I was working. But that's really all I do. Like, for my days, usually, it's either I'm eating, I'm exercising, or I'm working. It's one of those three things. That's just how my days go. So anyways, that said, let's fight this giant butt. The thing about Stray Demon is I always forget how much health he has, because he actually has a really big health pool. I would not call him at all challenging, I just think he has a big health pool. But it is fun with him that I can do my jumping R2 attack on him. I can't tell if it's hurting him right now, because I don't see blood coming out. I actually do wonder with him if it's better to do my my dagger against him. Uh-oh, I might be a little bit too close. You know what I do feel like? It's a little bit easier to see the area of effects attacks. But yeah, as far as things I don't like about the remaster, actually, now that may have reminded me, not the area of attack or effect, that's fine. I don't like how the smoke screen looks, and I think I said that before, or the fog gates. I think the fog gates look worse, and I think the smoke screen looks worse when you sit at a bonfire. Otherwise, everything, for the most part, looks a little bit better. I don't know. Honestly, I don't like the lighting as much either. I think the lighting in Dark Souls Remastered is more closely akin to Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin. I just don't think, I don't know, I actually don't like it as much. I don't think that's necessarily a good thing. Especially for Dark Souls 1, where you don't have a torch to help you light things. Like for Dark Souls 2, that they try to make it a really big deal of, use the torch. It's not the same in this game. I don't know, there's areas that I just feel weird to me, or like you'll walk into a cave and all of a sudden everything turns blue in blue tone that it didn't do before, and it just feels weird to me. I'm like, man, actually, like, the lighting was better before when it didn't just suddenly turn blue all of a sudden when you walked into a cave. So there you go. Those are my gripes with the game, if people want to hear me be cynical and griping. At the end of the day, man, like, I'm used to things just being ported or playing games I like a lot, again, 10 years later. And if I really like the game, there's a reason I really liked it. There have been a few games that I go back to, and I'm pretty fair about this. At least I feel like I'm pretty fair. When I go back to old games, I'm like, ooh, this was not as good as I remembered. And replaying Dark Souls 1 Remastered, I don't feel like I was wrong. I still think it's a fantastic game, so I'm like, I don't know. I'm fine with the port, which is, like I said, what I feel like it is. I'm fine with that. Like, oh shit, one hit kill. One hit kill, boyos. Well, we're gonna fight it one more time, even though I'm a little bit over how long I wanted to go now. Whatevs, whatevs. I'm annoyed that I die. Man, alright. I'm doing worse against him than I did when I was just playing for myself. But I'll have to remember that. Anyways. I was wondering when I dropped in here without killing these guys if that would happen. But I was like, they'll probably die from the fall, right? No. One hit kill again. Alright, I'm gonna deal with them before I come down, because I do want to kill the Stray Demon before I end this Let's Play. That's something I would like to do. Ah, crap! And now I'm out of things to talk about. I'm like, I had all my notes in front of me for things to talk about, and I ran out. Nah, actually, I don't keep notes of things to talk about. I was gonna do a Let's Play with one of my really good friends. We were talking about doing, like, not like Games Grumps, but in the sense of, like, Best Friends Play or Game Grumps, where it's just, like, you and your friend playing games together. I was gonna do something like that with one of my really close friends, and we ended up not doing it. But we tried a couple sample ones, and we shot a couple that I was actually pretty happy with that I just never uploaded. Maybe I'll upload them to this channel, actually, finally, now that I have this channel, and see how people react to it. Even though I never finished those episodes. Oh, I'm already dead. Great. It's going great, guys. It's funny, because I was doing so well that first time. But that's how it goes, you know? But we played some Super Mario Bros. 3, and we played some Crash Bandicoot 2. This was before the remake. This was years ago. But, what was I going to say, though? So we kind of, after doing a couple samples ones, we realized that it was better for us to kind of take notes of some things that we wanted to talk about. So each episode, if we ran out of things to talk about, we had some notes in front of us to be like, okay, here's the thing that we should talk about. just in case we run out. So that was what we found was a good idea for us. But as far as my Let's Plays on this channel go, or my other channel, I've actually never done that. I'm not saying I don't have anything against it. I actually think it's a good idea. I've just never done it before. It's a good way to stay organized, especially for a longer game like this, or especially for King's Field. Honestly, that's something oh my god, that's gonna be an instant kill. I'm not dead. It's probably because I didn't heal last time. So, I should probably just stay closer to him. That's something, with these rings that's really helpful. Like, I think it's the last episode when you have no HUD. You actually have some gauge for how much health you have left when you see that. It's like, oh, I am almost dead. Whereas without it, you don't have any gauge. Any end gauge. I don't know, if you guys would want to see me to upload that content, those Let's Plays that never got up, just to see if you like it, let me know. Because I had a lot of fun recording that stuff with my friend. And I just don't know if people would like it or not. I never ended up putting up. I was going to start a fully new channel with him, and we just never did. Just because I think one of us got busy or started a new job, because he's an editor. Well, now he's an editor. He wasn't at the time. But now he's been editing. Like, he was an assistant editor on Jumanji, the new Jumanji movie. He worked on Star Trek, one of the Star Trek movies. The third Star Trek movie, which I'm blanking on the name of, but he worked on that in the post-production capacity. But those are typically 12 to 14-hour days. It's kind of just how the entertainment industry is, which is my least favorite thing about the entertainment industry, is just how insanely horrendous the hours are. And they factor that in. They factor that into your pay and how they pay you. It's like, oh, well, we're going to pay you this amount, but you're going to work a lot of overtime or overtime, so you're really going to be making more money. And they just factor that, and I think they actually pay you less because they factor into the fact that they're going to have to pay you so much overtime. It's a really shitty thing about the industry. And I don't know, he's worked on films. I don't know if TV's any better. I've worked in the entertainment industry for a few companies at this point, but I've worked for more corporate companies, and it's a little bit different when you work for corporate companies because they have to follow the rules a little bit stricter since it's corporate policies. Like, I worked for E! Entertainment, not as a freelancer, but like as a full-time employee, and they were like, do not work overtime because then we have to pay you more money, and we do not want to pay you more money. Do not do that. Never work overtime unless we absolutely tell you you have to work overtime. So, yeah, it really depends. And like, GameSpot's also really good about it, actually. Working with GameSpot, they're usually pretty much like, if you have to work overtime, just let us know so we can approve it. They're pretty laid back about it. They're like, yeah, just let us know so we can approve it. Please don't work longer than you have to because we don't want you to have to. Actually, honestly, I think it might be the best job I've ever had, which is really lucky right now for me. Not just because of what I talk about, but, well, part of it's because I'm a producer. And it took me a while to finally get this position and title that I've wanted in the entertainment industry. I've kind of been shooting for it for a while, to have that title of producer. But, so that's one thing. And, like, I get to be on camera, which is fun, and I get to write and research things, which is fun. I get to edit, which is not fun, but it's still part of what I do, and I'll do it the best I can and try to make it good. But that's part of it, is what's cool. But also the people I work with are great. And just as far as corporate culture goes, because now I've worked for 3 major companies, it's been a great place. So I'm only 3 months in working there, though. I don't know. Like, obviously, I wouldn't necessarily want to talk shit about an employer if I didn't like working for someone, just because I don't think it's professional. But at the same time, I guess, like, if I had something negative to say, I just wouldn't say anything at all. If I was really mad, I just wouldn't even talk about it. But yeah, it's been good. I don't know. I feel weird saying that. I'm like, I don't even know. People aren't going to trust me now that I just said everything else, but that's just how it is. So, anyways, I'm just rambling so much tonight. I'm recording this at night. I blame on the fact that I made myself oatmeal for dinner. Fun fact that nobody wanted to know, but I'm going to tell you anyways, is that this past week I was really badly constipated. It was the week of E3, And I actually didn't. Went to E3 on Tuesday, and I was gonna go Thursday. Tuesday I had way too much work to go, but I was gonna like stop by for part of Thursday, although I still had a lot of work to do. But try to at least stop by for a bit of it. And I was just feeling way too bad to go. I was like, I cannot go. I feel horrible right now. So didn't go the third day because of that, and I've just been eating tons of oatmeal and prunes to try. And now it's like finally like fine at this point. I'm recording on a Sunday, and it's fine in that sense, but it's still a little off. So I've been making myself a lot of oatmeal because oats are supposed to be good for that sort of thing, as well as prunes, obviously. But hey, TMI. You're welcome, guys. You're welcome. Yeah, I came into my Nerdwire hosting job one day and was talking about it, and they were just joking about it the whole time. Because I'm pretty laid back about that stuff, in the sense of like, I don't know, there aren't, usually like human body function things just don't gross me out. It's just, I don't mind talking about it because it's just part of the human body. It's always been weird to me that people get so shy about talking about some of that stuff. Like one example is like girls being on their periods. To me, it's like, why this big embarrassing thing when I'm like, it's literally every single girl. It's just a normal thing. It's normal part of life. And even like guys who get grossed out about that, I'm like, but why? It's the most normal human thing possible. It's so normal and not gross. I don't get it. You know, I don't get why it's like this taboo thing, I guess. When to me it's just so normal. It's like that's, yeah, like I said, it's just the most normal thing possible. There's nothing taboo about it to me. But that's just me. Alright, so Stray Demon is done. Let's go ahead and grab his stuff. So, main reason to kill him is for a Titanite slab, really, or if you want the souls. Part of the Dark Souls design is that there are torches that they use to help tell you where to go, or to, like, basically find the path. So it's a way for you to find it without them telling you that they're trying to help you find it. So here you can see this is where the torch is. I was just looking around to show you guys no torches anywhere else. Torch here, though, and that's where the ladder is. So if you're ever lost about where to go, try to find the source of light, because that's going to be, at least with souls, it's like a guiding light. It's going to help you out and tell you where to go. So there you go. Let's see if I can deal with this guy. Hopefully I can. I don't know. I go back and forth with how well I do against knights. Sometimes I'm having a good day, sometimes I'm not. I wasn't earlier today, but this type of knight I'm a little bit more used to because of all the silver knights. And Anorlando. That's not gonna knock you down a notch? Alright. Maybe this one will. Is that good? Black Knight who fought against demons? Sure. Good enough. Alright, so now when we go back here, we find the Peculiar Doll, which takes us to the Painted World. The lore on the Painted Doll, or Peculiar Doll. There once was an abomination who had no place in this world. She clutched this doll tightly and eventually was drawn into a cold and lonely painted world. So, presumably that's talking about Priscilla. As to why the Peculiar Doll is found back in your cell, I don't know, and I've never really known. I don't honestly know if there's a specific lore for reason for it, or if it's more so just a gameplay thing, or maybe the devs placed it there for gameplay purposes of, you know, you're coming back here, and they're gonna give you something else for coming back here, like another key item. But as far as like lore-wise, I can't tell if there's any real reason for it to be there. So another big reason to come back here, which I should probably do before I wrap up, so I don't forget next episode. What do I want to give myself? Let's give myself some. Ooh, so much better. Let's do another endurance, do another vitality. Nice. Let's do so much leveling. I'm so much stronger now. This is so much different than my last Let's Play at 6. Oh, have I fought Oscar yet? I don't think I have. So, well, here he is. I guess we'll also fight against Oscar of Astora, sadly. Sorry, Oscar. You're a true bro to the very end. Your very end. But now it must end. It must end for us all because you're a hollow asshole. Even though well, actually, I was going to say even though I hit you first, but I was parrying your attack at me. That should kill him. Sorry, Oscar. You do have the Elite Knight set, which is my favorite set in the game in terms of aesthetically. But you had to go. Another really big reason to come back here, gameplay-wise, is for the ring that we're about to get, the Rusted Iron Ring, I think is the full name of it. I know it's Rusted, but I don't remember if it's Iron. That's a big reason to come back here that we're about to do. And go get real quick. I do like that they utilized this area again. And found a way to like make you come back and make it, you know, placed a couple more enemies to make it slightly different. I think it's a good use of their resources for sure. All right, bro. Whoa, that didn't kill you? What with that? So that ring that we got that we picked up before, so we can go through here. So you really want to grab that ring that I got earlier at the Firelink Shrine, so we can go get our Rusted Iron Ring, which is going to help us roll through water and all that. And you don't need it, but it's nice. It's nice to have, so just wanted to get that so I didn't forget. Alright guys, that's going to wrap up this Let's Play of Dark Souls Remastered. Again, sorry I was a little rambly today. I hope it was still entertaining. And, you know, let me know your thoughts on things like that. If it was okay I was more rambly, or you just want me to talk lore or what. And thoughts on things I talked about earlier. Definitely, I read all of your comments. Even if I don't respond, it's probably just because I'm busy, but I do read every single comment. So I'm always curious to hear your guys' thoughts, and it means a lot to me. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it, and I will see you guys next time. Later, guys. Peace. Kita out!